Another episode of Candidate Conversations, where we speak with candidates candidly about who they are and why they're running. And today we're with Will Murphy, who's running for New York State Assembly in District 15. He doesn't have a primary, so we're looking forward to the November general election. Welcome to the show, Will.
Hey, Skye, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tell us about your background, like who are you, where you come from, and what brought you to this point?
So I'm a former practicing labor and employment attorney, went to law school, did all that, spent a number of years representing unions, representing victims of employment discrimination of every kind, and at a certain point realized I had a real passion, real love for teaching and for working with young people. So I found myself at St. John's University in about 2014, first as an administrator, then I worked my way into the classroom, and I haven't left since. I love my job. It's fun, challenges the best of my abilities, and I really do feel like at the end of the day, it's inspiring a better tomorrow by working with today's college students.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I know you have those drawings behind you, but they're not from college.
Not from my college students, no. These are from my children. So even more important than my passion for being an educator and a professor is my family. So I have a beautiful, amazing wife named Megan. We met in law school. Very much a part of this campaign as much as I am. It's two for the price of one with us. We're in it together, and we have two amazing young little boys, Connor, who's 4 years old, and Aiden, who's 1 year old. And you know what? I never thought of doing something like this until I became a parent, but being a parent, things hit different. Things matter in a different light or a different way to you. And specifically with my son, Connor, he's 4 years old. He's got a number of special needs. When I experienced firsthand the lack of services for people like him out there and children like him out there, and just how hard it is to get them too, the limited resources there are as is, someone needed to step up and fight that fight for everybody. So that was a big motivator for bringing me here today.
Yeah, so I know you've been out there on the campaign trail. You were initially running for public office in a different capacity and pivoted to this assembly seat. So what's the reception been like from Long Islanders as they get to know you?
You know what? The reception's been great. So I ran for Congress. I admittedly had no clue what I was doing. Thankfully, my good friend, Tom, your good friend as well, called me up and said, hey, well, I'm getting in the race. And I said, absolutely. I think you're the best person for it. I was the first to get out that race, endorsed Tom, supported him all the way, knocked on 200 doors. But then I was approached with the possibility to run for assembly, a more local office, and one that fits me a bit better than Congress did, if I'm being honest. It allows me to be who I am, which is just not a politician, a real person who has bills to pay, who has mouths to feed, who lives the challenges we live every single day. And that's who I am. And when people actually get past the letter next to my name, we're so polarized. Are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat? I said, hey, I'm a working dad. I'm a working dad who wants better for his kids. And here's what I go through every day, whether it's getting my butt to work, whether it's taking my kids to daycare, which costs more than my mortgage, whether it's my son Connor with his special needs. Every day's a fight. So I'm a fighter, and I think people take to that. And unfortunately, we kind of have representation now from a person who, if he had to spend literally an hour in my shoes, probably wouldn't last. And I think we deserve to have somebody out there fighting for us who can not only fight, but knows what they're fighting against and how to fight it.
So what do you need in order to cross the finish line now in November? Notice, taking into account the, like you said, polarized political climate, seeing what's happened on a national level, but knowing that it's the local elections that impact our day-to-day lives. And unfortunately, people are not educated on what being a local official means. So what do we need to get you over the finish line?
So you know what? I keep saying this isn't a turnout election. When you've got Trump and Biden at the top of the ticket, everyone's coming to vote. So it's not about turnout, it's about messaging. And it's about getting out there and speaking to as many people as I can. Because when the people in my community realize who I am and can look past the letter next to my name, if it's one that they don't like the voting for Democrats, and actually get to know who I am, why I'm running, what my ideas are, I think it's a very clear choice. On one side, you got someone who literally went from graduate school to the assembly with a campaign funded by his wealthy father. And on the other side, you got someone busting his butt every day, trying to make it in this community, invested in this community by raising his own family here, and trying to make it it better so that when it's left to my children in a number of years, I had some sort of impact there. So it's really a matter of getting that message out, and would welcome any time to publicly discuss these issues with Jake and compare and contrast who we are as candidates and what we bring to the table, because I feel very confident when the public sees that, they're going to realize there's really no choice here at all. It ties into I'm a fighter. Yeah.
I know. Yes. You said a number of times the word fight. Okay. I thought those were crayons there, but now I'm hearing they are martial arts belts.
Yeah. So when we say I'm a father, yeah, of course I am. When I say I'm a fighter, I literally am too. So one of my big hobbies throughout my life has been being a martial artist, and I'm actually a second-degree black belt in mixed martial arts. So all different kinds. Think of UFC, and I've actually had a number of amateur fights in my day. So while most people like gardening, reading, whatever the case, traveling, whatever the case may be, I used to like getting in there and mixing it up with others. It was a great thing, kept me in great shape, and it was sort of like a great version of therapy in a way, especially in the times we live. So I love it, and I always display in my office the belts I earned throughout the years to impart that discipline and outlet to my students whenever they come to meet with me.
Do you currently practice martial arts, and what does that look like?
I do. So not as much as I like, between having a job, raising a family, and campaigning pretty much full time. Sleep is sometimes a luxury, but what I do is when I go down, you go down to, currently I'm with East Coast Mixed Martial Arts in Syosset. It's a nice local business, and I go down there 2 or 3 times a week if I can, and we train. I literally get in there. Sometimes we hold mitts for each other, punching and kicking. Sometimes we do jujitsu, where we're learning submission holds like arm locks and headlocks to subdue somebody if, God forbid, you found yourself in a self-defense situation. And the most fun is usually at the end of class, we'll just mix it up. Whoever's there, we'll spar or we'll roll for jujitsu, or sometimes tie it all together. So it certainly toughens you up. But the best messages to take from it are never give up, never quit. Competition is from oneself to oneself, not to someone else, and to never put limits on what you can achieve. Because when I first started doing it, I was like 260, 270 pounds, and I got myself into outstanding shape and became a second-degree black belt. So when you don't put that limit on yourself, anything really is possible.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great, analogy between sports and the real world.
Absolutely. If someone throws a punch, slip it and counter.
Well, listen, it's really been great getting to know you. I know it's just a short little interview, but we got a little insight into your background, your life, and your mentality. So we'll be following along on the campaign trail for Assembly District 15 with Will Murphy.
Thanks so much, Skye. I'm so excited. I'm excited to run. I'm excited to speak to you, and I'm excited to speak to everybody out there in our district and let them know exactly who I am and that I am fighting, but for them.